blog. This is Jim, and I'm going to explain a couple of things. I work cold cases and missing persons because basically it's the right thing to do. A lot of people in it for the glory, for the money, and all this, mostly private investigators, reporters, and things like that. But for me, it's just the right thing to do. When you start working missing persons cases and cold cases, you ask a lot of questions that can get you into trouble. Not just with the bad people, but law enforcement tends to not like it when people interfere with the case. I try not to interfere with the case. I just look at the details of the case as much as I can get and work at it from there. I've received death threats and things like that. For me, that means I must be close to something because otherwise they wouldn't be calling me threatened. But I've had drive-by shootings. I had a drive-by shooting here the other night, basically because I pissed somebody off on a cold case. I believe that was the case of Karen Ramirez, whose picture I have on the wall. I have a good idea where her body is, probably about an 85, 90% chance of where her body is. But it's getting factual information and a for sure location to go find her body. I don't do this for money. I don't get paid for this. And I've had producers interested in me from Canada to California. And I've been on some local shows, things like that. I was on Discovery Channel or something else. But doing this can actually cause you some stress if you don't think, if you don't look for some way to vent out those feelings, because you could know details of a case that normal people wouldn't see. Or autopsy pictures or pictures of the crime scene or something like that. Personally, in all the years I've been in searching for missing persons, I am responsible for the bodies of 4 girls being found. And it's a relief, but at the same time, it's not. It's just hard to explain something. I'm back. You can find my blog by Google searching Dead Justice Jim Carroll, Carroll. And there you will learn. I've had the blog up since 2014. That blog is what got producers and TV people interested in what I do. And again, I don't do this for money. And I enjoy doing it. I enjoy getting results and passing that information on to law enforcement. I keep voice line for tips for people who want to call in tips to me that don't want to get involved with police. And there's a lot of those people who don't want to get involved with police or giving their name or information. When I get information from people, I don't want to know their names. I don't want to know anything about them. I just want to know where the body is so the family can have some semblance of closure. It's up to detectives and law enforcement to do their job and investigate it and find the culprit and bring justice to their family and that way. Me, I just want to find the body, and that's it. Not for money either. Not like some of these organizations. I got interested in cold case homicides years ago, right around 2002, 2003, because I know that there's not enough police out there to do the job, and a lot of people won't talk to police. In all the years I've been around this world, almost 60 years, I've fractured an occasional law now and then back in the day that got me locked up for a total of about 12 years, most of which I deserved. But being in prison and doing the time that I did, it allowed me to get into the minds of some of these killers and get a feel for what they're thinking and what they're doing. Um, I got a lot of information from writing some of these serial killers in prison. A couple of letters I got were from Samuel Little, black gentleman who the FBI calls the most prolific serial killer in the United States. And he died in prison just recently. Then I was writing a guy by the name of Edward Harold Bell, who wrote me some cryptic letters that you have to decipher. Interesting character. And another guy named Mark Stallings, Mark Roland Stallings, who gave me some information on two girls that he killed that he hadn't yet to be convicted for. He's doing a life sentence. And another guy named Brandon Laverne, who's doing time in Louisiana for a couple girls' murders there. So I try to get into the minds of these killers, what they're thinking, and believe it or not, these guys do have a conscience. I mean, they may be murderous psychopaths, but deep down inside, they have a conscience that they feel bad for what hell they've caused, by murdering the person or murdering someone. And I don't have pity for them. I just don't judge them. It's not up to me to judge. It's up to God to judge. And that's going to be the ultimate judge, not a judge in a court of law. A judge in a court of law may send you to prison, but it's up to God on what happens to that person when he dies. So don't judge me because I've been in prison. I've been in prison in Texas, Colorado, and did a little bit of county time in California. And I got to know some pretty interesting characters. When I was in California, I met Rick James, the punk rock star. I forgot what he was in there for. I met Jimmy Lee Smith, one of the Onion Field Killers. Got to have a conversation with him. On that porn star, I forgot the name of that porn star who knew the Hillside Strangler. And as a Virgo, like I am, I like to learn about things and people and what makes people tick. And what makes killers tick is their hatred of themselves. They hate themselves, and that's what I've noticed is consistent on why they do what they do. They've had bad upbringing, bad childhood, sexual abuse, things like that. So I don't judge them, and neither should you. Let justice be served in a court of law as it may, but let God judge them in the end. That's what I got to say about that. Okay, I live in Houston, Texas, and Houston is a hub for human trafficking and serial killers. One of the most infamous areas is League City, Texas, which is south of Houston, in an area they call the Killing Fields. Many, many women on the Gulf Freeway, which is Interstate 45 South, have turned up missing and turned up dead along that corridor. There's been movies made about it, news stories made about it, things like that. I've personally been down to these areas, and it's a prime place to dump a body. And they're still dumping bodies. There's still people being killed out there. And law enforcement can only do so much. I don't blame law enforcement for lack of trying, because when you run out of clues, there's nothing else that can be done. And that's where guys like me come in. Law enforcement's hands are tied when it comes to gathering evidence and chain of custody and things like that. I don't have to do that. A civilian does not have to do that. Worry about chain of custody and violating somebody's rights, like a lot of people scream. When I get information from somebody, I don't reveal that person's name or anything But if it's good information, and I'll dissect it and try to stay away from conspiracy theories, because it's so easy to go to conspiracies when it comes to the missing. But one thing that I have learned in working missing persons is that law enforcement is discriminating against those of color or social standing or how much money they got in the bank, so to speak. Um, for example, they're going to look for a girl, missing girl that's missing from a ritzy neighborhood more than they're going to look for the black girl that's missing from an urban area where there's a lot of crime. And I try to bring light to that, and I put it on my blog on how law enforcement does discriminate. Maybe not intentionally, maybe they do, um, in searching for certain people when they turn them missing. And to me, that's just not acceptable. That pisses me off, and I won't stand for it. And I'll keep voicing my opinion on this thing because it's just not good. As I get older, I'm realizing how crazy this world's getting more and more every day, and how violent this world is getting more and more every day. That's why I try to really tell, especially my female friends, not to travel alone at night. Uh, be careful meeting guys at bars. Uh, always have a friend with you, because Houston is a violent city, and a lot of things are happening in this town that I can't believe that are happening, and it's because we're short on police officers, shorthanded, and detectives. Um, and they just keep finding girls. I keep watching on the news, just about every 3 or 4 days, there's an there's another missing girl that's just disappeared, or they find the body of a girl in the middle of the street. It's just not right. So if you travel at night, don't travel alone. Always check in with somebody on the phone. Turn your GPS on your phone. I know you don't like being tracked, but it's a good tool for law enforcement in case you turn them missing. And it's sad that we've come to this point where you have to take these precautions. If you can, wherever you're at, if you can, carry a firearm, carry a gun, protect yourself. Don't be scared of firearms. They're made for protection, and get that protection. Pepper spray isn't going to do it. Um, a knife isn't going to do it, because that would mean you'd have to be close quarters, and you don't want anybody getting that close to you. Okay, but self-protection. Okay, take care of yourself. In closing this video, I want to say that at my age, at almost 60 years old, um, I'm going to keep doing this until my dying day. Um, I get up in the middle of the night. If I think of something, I write it down. Um, and I'm going to keep doing this. It's in my heart, and it's something I believe in. And what a lot of other people, there are other missing person advocates and people who do what I do. I don't know if they've gotten as many death threats or drive-by shootings at their place, but there are a select group of private investigators that are dedicated into doing this stuff. And if you want the names of any private investigators that are dedicated into doing and looking for the missing, if you want to hire a private investigator, send me an email. My email, by the way, is researchtexas@comcast.net. That's RESEARCHTEXAS, Research Texas, all one word, at Comcast.net. My informant line, if you have any information, is 713-481-3184. 713-481-3184. If you know where there's a body and you want to try to stay away from being involved in it, and you don't want your name involved, but you do know where there's a body, give me a call. I don't want your name. I don't want to know anything about it. I just want to know if you know who the person is and where the body's at. I don't care about your involvement in it. That's not my job. I'm here to get closure for the family so they can have their loved one buried properly. Okay? That's all I ask. Okay? I guess that's it for this video. I thank you for your time. If you have any questions on how you can get into this, email me or call me, and I'll see what I can do. Okay? God bless you all. Be safe. Remember, be careful at night. Mostly female, but males too. Be careful at night if you can. God bless. Take care.